transferred to Hong Kong, and there's an amazing story about that too. When I was in the 6th grade, my teacher was leaving, the first grade, when my teacher was leaving that year, she told us all she was going to China as a missionary. That was before the days were closed. I mean, China was closed. And I never got away from China. It was from the 6 years old till I went. I kept thinking about China. But she gave us a card. I may not remember your names today, even while you're here with me. I'm going to be 85 in August, so I remember. They didn't tell me my memory would get this bad. And she gave us a little card, and she drew a rainbow and colored the rainbow. And underneath there, she says, "There's a rainbow shining. God has made it just for you. 'Tis the promise of his keeping till the storm clouds hide the blue." And I never forgot that. And I really wanted to go, and I promised the Lord, well, you want me to get to the healer. Sorry, see, I get off on something else, so please forgive me. But anyway, I was in the Marshall Islands, Micronesia. In fact, I went to all of those little islands there, ministered, and then transferred to Hong Kong and worked in many of the countries, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and all of those countries. But anyway, when I was 11 years old, I had some kind of fever that my parents took me to many doctors, even some out of town. Some would say, well, they thought it was undernut fever. Now, I don't know what undernut fever is, and some, something else. But they never did know. And one night, I was on the bed. I couldn't walk without someone holding me up. I wished I had that picture of me then. They would hold me up, but my back would, go back, and I lost the use of my left arm, couldn't use my left arm. But this night, I was so bad, it took 4 adult men to hold me on my bed. And from then, I was not able to, do anything. I had to be lifted off the bed and everything. And my mother and one of our neighbors had gone to town, so she'd gotten one of my aunts to come and stay with me. And everybody that came to see me that day, I said, "You better be at church tonight. I'm going to walk home." And they all looked at me like Job's comforters, She'll never walk again. We'll be going to her funeral. And my mother and neighbors stayed gone so late. And so I swallowed my pride, even though I was just 11 years old. I told my aunt, I says, "Would you please dress me?" I couldn't dress myself. So she got me dressed, and I was ready when they came in, and we went on to church. And but I'm getting ahead of myself because I got saved, before this. But the young people of the church felt so impressed to give up their noon meal and go to the church and pray. The school wasn't too far from the church. And so I don't know how long they did this, but they were praying for revival. And they also told the pastor, there's 2 things we want to see God do in this revival. is to save Iris Brown and to heal her. Now that was before the days of Oral Roberts when it was on television about so many people being healed. And so the pastor recognized it was of God, and he allowed them to have a young people's revival. And the young people themselves did the preaching. They were not trained to do so, but God, laid it on their hearts. And so they took me to church on Wednesday night. We had wooden pews then, and so they had to bring pillows for me to sit on. And I was up close. And while the service started, and hadn't been in the service too long before one of the young people stood and started singing in the Spirit. Makes goosebumps go on me now, but I'd never heard anything like that. And I started crying, and I thought, oh, that's the Lord's coming, and I'm not saved. And I started crying and begging the Lord. I said, Lord, I know I'm not saved. Will you please forgive me? I named over some of the things I'd done. 11 years, it wasn't as bad back then as it is now, but I had done some bad things. I says, forgive me for chewing that rabbit, smoking that rabbit tobacco. And I don't even know what it is now, but it was some weeds that we would pull up, and I'd roll it up and smoke it. And, in school, sometimes, maybe you never did it because you weren't as mean as me, but like someone would be, the desk would be right here by me in my desk, and we'd have a test, and for the moment I couldn't think of the answer to the questions, and I would glance over and see the answer. And forgive me for cheating in school and trying to pretend that I was that smart. And forgive me for beating up my brother. This my brother right here. He went to be with the Lord at the age of, he died in June, the 30th of June, and he would have been 24, the 29th of December. And Sonia, that's her up there with her husband, she like 1 week being a year old when this happened. So my brother and I would fight. And I was a great marble player. Oh, I was the only girl in this neighborhood, so I'd have to get the boys, I'd give them some marbles, to play with me, and my knuckles was all cruddy, and I'd shoot and win, and they wouldn't have anything. Well, then I'd want somebody to play with me, so I would give them marbles, and we would play, and forgive me for taking those boys' marbles, and forgive me for not being nice to my mom and daddy at times. I just named over everything. Please forgive me, Jesus. I want a clean heart. Cleanse me and make me clean. And I was just a crying. Then I felt his forgiveness. I said, and Lord, I know I don't have much longer to live according to the doctors. I could go any time. But I want to give you my life, the rest of my life, as long as I live, my life belongs to you. I may be gone soon, but those weeks and months I live, I give my life to you.